Hey everyone, Laser here. Aggro Sorcerer is something that I was playing towards the beginning of this season. It got me from, I don't know, rank 4 to rank 2, something like that. I wanted to try out some of the new MOE cards in it, and turns out Elfie Conjurer and Temple Conjurer together is absolutely busted. Uh, no surprise there. Endozoa in the latest meta snapshot, which you can find in the description if I remember to put it in there, and if I didn't, then yell at me and I'll put it in afterward. Said that possibly the most powerful thing you can be doing right now is to play 3 copies of Elfie Conjurer alongside 3 copies of Temple Conjurer in a 50 card deck. And Aggro Sorcerer, in my opinion, is the second best way to do that after Mid Battle Mage. It uses a couple of new cards really, really well. We talked about the Conjurer because it's crazy good, but in my opinion, the most important card outside of that for blue mid-range, blue aggro being good right now is Midnight Trespasser. Having another good 1-drop to play, a 2/2 for 1 is perfectly acceptable. And sometimes it just fills out your curve as a 3/3, which is nuts. Turns where you would usually say have 4 Magicka, play a Discerning Thief, and pass, and float 1 mana. If you have a consuming Midnight Trespasser alongside that, instead of a 3/4 for 4, you're getting 6/7 for 4 worth of stats. So that card is absolutely busted. Dromathara Reaper, I think is... I don't know if it belongs in this deck, I'll be perfectly honest. I think it does. I think it's very good because it's a 3/2 for 2, which already we're fine with. Oftentimes it will come down as a 3/3 for 2 because it gets the consume trigger, and then also gets you a little bit of consume synergy healing, spot healing between Trespasser itself and Elfie Conjurer. And together we have 8 cards that can consume something, which means that's a potential 8 health gain over the course of the game. Obviously, you'll never get that much, but in aggro mirrors, sometimes that 1 or 2 points of health really does matter. It's not usually going to be completely game-changing, but it can make your opponent pause and think about if their tactics are really the right way to be doing. Otherwise, we pretty much just have the kind of aggro sorcerer core. We have Harpies because they're amazing, Negation because it's amazing, Wardcrafter because it's amazing. You see where this is going. Spell Sword, Daggerfall Mage, Hunting Spirit, Jack, Mammoth, Bleak Ghost Troll, Corrupted Shade are all kind of just standard in the Aggro Sorcerer package. You shouldn't ever play without it. Discerning Thief, I was playing as a 2 of. I think it probably ought to be a 3. I think this card is better than Daggerfall Mage, specifically for this aggressive kind of deck. Corrupted Shade, I play as a 2 of because as a pilot, I'm really bad at playing Corrupted Shade for some reason. I don't know why, but I never feel like I'm playing it correctly. I played with it a good amount earlier in the season just to kind of make myself better at it, using it as an aggressive tool, only forcing your opponent to react to it. And when it works, it works. Only 2 copies of Bolt, because in this deck, if you get more than 1 in your hand ever, then you're really, really gumming your hand up. But 2 is nice for reach. Emmerich and Encano for nice reach as well as board control, and then 1 Shadowfen Priest for stability. So that's the list. It worked really well for me. I think Aggro Sorcerer is absurdly powerful right now. It worked well for me earlier in the month, and I think it'll probably work for pretty much anyone right now. I highly suggest you try it. It's a very fundamental deck, so if you understand the game well, you will do very well. We are going to take this in casual because, as I mentioned, I'm trying very hard on ranked this season, so we're going to go see if we can get a couple good games with this and kind of show off why this one is so powerful. All right, game number 1 with our... It's not mid-range. Like, I could call it mid-range sorcerer, but it's not. It's aggro sorcerer. Against Halalu. Halalu's in a weird space right now. I don't think it's really great. This is a weird hand. I don't want to keep the spirits. Daggerfall I kind of want to keep against an aggressive Halalu, but if it's not aggressive, then it's kind of bad. If it is aggressive, 2 can't really trade into a ton in Halalu. I guess this isn't a lot better, but what you gonna do? And I really want to get on the board early with this deck. The difference between getting a 1-drop and not is kind of absurd. I didn't keep like statistical track, but I kept an eye on how my win rate changed when I had a 1-drop versus when I didn't. And it was noticeably and dramatically different how often I won when I had a 1-drop or a turn 1 play and versus when I didn't. Okay, so here's something I've been doing recently that is very high risk and can be very high reward. If you play Manic Jack without the mutation, then it can be an absolute blowout play, but you really need to make sure you're paying attention to what your opponent is playing. For instance, Halalu, unless he's playing Crushing Blow, maybe there's more I'm thinking of, but by and large isn't going to be able to answer a 3/3 on 3. So I feel pretty comfortable playing it out on that turn, which now gets me a 5/5 beater on turn 3, which is outstandingly good. Very, very good in aggro battle mage, because if you can... Yeah, see, the tempo you get from that is absolutely huge. It looks like they also may have had a bit of a bricked hand going into turn 4 without a play, but hey, we take those. Okay, heading into game number 2 with Aggro Sorcerer. Game number 1, kind of a non-game. What you gonna do? We're against Camo's Low, the Godslayer, on Tribunal. He has the ring, and we do not. His hand is good. They have more than one execute, or like an execute and negation. We're kind of boned. Conjurer is always nice, because that is very hard for Control Tribunal to deal with. If he is something like Token or Midrange Tribunal, then I'm pretty okay with this hand. Open up with a Spell Sword. Haunting Spirit, a much better 3-drop than Daggerfall Mages when you're trying to be proactive. So here we have a decision to make. Daggerfall or Haunting Spirit. Daggerfall dies to both Execute and Sorcerer's Negation. Haunting Spirit could only really be answered by a Bolt, a Crushing Blow, or a Channeled Storm. Crushing Blow, I don't expect him to be playing, and Bolt, if he has to use a Ring Charge to answer it, I'm okay with. There we go. That's one of the reasons we did this. Okay, here's going to be a great example of why Midnight Trespasser is friggin' amazing. First of all, we're going to get ourselves a 5/5 ward. And now we're going to get another 3/3 on top of it. So we basically just got 8/8 worth of stats on turn 4. Now granted, he has plenty of ways that he could deal with some of this. He could negation this, he could just have a Javelin. But, yeah, if not, we get a whole bunch of value. Oh, and we hit the Temple Conjurer. This means Alfiq Conjurer is going to get us a Storm Atronach. This is exactly why this can be so powerful. Yeah, he can heal back all he wants. That just means he's not getting any hard draw. And we can put on incrementally more and more pressure, which we are very happy with. We're going to split into Shadow next turn to start playing around Dawn's Wrath, because he appears to be a relatively traditional Control Tribunal. Next turn is almost certainly Emmerich alongside Midnight Trespasser. Yep, Emmerich lets us clear that off thanks to having 2 wards on the field. And we're going to make him make this trade instead of doing it for him. He's going to gain a bunch of health. That's fine. Again, we're putting on more and more pressure. Even if he Dawn's Wrath next turn, he's already missed out on 3 cards he could draw, and we have more than enough damage to punch through his healing. He's going to draw 2 cards. That is really nice for us. He doesn't end up actually doing anything to the board this turn. How much damage do we have? 5. So 10, 15, 23. But we don't have a way to get through the Varen healing this turn. So what we're going to do Stack a bunch. That would break the next rune. So we have options. Options are, he would go to 24, which I don't think we can get through. 7, 10, 15, 17, not quite. I do like just hitting him a whole bunch, though. He can't answer 2 full lanes of creatures. So we're going to break all the runes first. Trade in so that he can't next turn. Debatable whether that was a good trade or not, but, you know, whatever. Mistake here, actually. We just should have played the Dromothra Reaper first, because when you consume, it gains a health, so it goes up to 3/3 now. And if we had played this first and then the Elfique, it would survive a second Ice Storm. That said, second Ice Storm isn't going to kill us anyway, but there you go. It would have survived if we had taken the time to sequence that correctly. We're going to win anyway, but if you're trying to play right, then you might as well do it right, you know? I don't think he has a way out of this. There it is. So we just put on very consistent pressure throughout the entire game. We did get lucky getting that Conjuration Tutor top deck to get the Storm Atronach. But, I mean, hey, that's exactly what this deck is really good at. It's only 50 cards, so it more consistently finds the cards that it wants. And at that point, we really wanted the Conjurer, because we already had another Conjurer. So that is Aggro Sorcerer. I think it is stupidly good right now. You can also tailor this deck to your tastes as you want. I would try and keep roughly this curve, personally. But you could throw in things like Lesser Ward if you want to go really tempo-oriented. You could throw in things like the monthly recurred Sentinel Reclaimer or the Satan Courier if you want to be even more damage-focused. My build is very board-focused, but if you want to be, you know, face all the time, there are ways to tailor it for that. If you want to be slightly more reactive, you can, well, I would say don't change the kind of 3s and 4s core that I mentioned in the beginning of the video. I think those are all very powerful cards that enable this very well. And I very, very much suggest running no less than 6 1-drops. I've actually considered running more because the 1-drop power is absolutely insane. Well, that's that. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel to check out all of the new videos that are coming out soon. Till then, see you next time.